S.
F.
J!
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Beardo's True Conspiracies from Australian History. Australia is a mysterious land, and not all of the untimely deaths on this vast island are a result of the multitude of deadly snakes, spiders, crocodiles, sharks, or wallaroos. As such, Australian history has spawned a number of famous conspiracy theories. In 1996, a 28-year-old man named Martin Bryant allegedly committed a mass shooting on the Australian sub-island of Tasmania, killing 35 people and wounding another 23 others. Despite hundreds of direct eyewitness accounts, many people believed that Bryant was a convenient patsy and that the shooting was actually perpetrated by agents of the Australian government in order to stir up anti-gun sentiment and give the government the chance to disarm the Australian people. Whether it was a conspiracy or not, it worked, and some of the world's most prohibitive gun laws were enacted. Australia went from a land that had more guns than humans to a land in which only specially trained military officers are allowed to fire guns, and even then, the guns are not allowed to be either fired or stored on Australian soil. Indeed, in order for these soldiers to conduct training drills, they need to be on a ship or other floating platform in international waters off the Australian coast. Australia's most famous conspiracy theory surrounds the disappearance of a serving Australian Prime Minister. In 1967, Harold Holt was 22 months into his reign as Prime Minister. He decided to go swimming in the sea off Victoria at around noon on December the 17th. He disappeared from view and never emerged from the water. Despite a massive search by the Royal Australian Navy and Air Force, which involved some of the first corpse detection and recovery dolphins ever used, Prime Minister Holt's body was never found. A number of conspiracy theories surrounded the disappearance of the Prime Minister. The most popular, and the most widely known, is that Holt was, despite being Prime Minister of Australia, actually spying on behalf of the People's Republic of China. The theory states that Holt entered the sea in order to get picked up by a Chinese China submarine, so that he could return to China and report back to his communist overlords. Whether or not that was true, or whether the unwell and unfit 59-year-old, who also had a heart condition and had collapsed in Parliament shortly before, who was taking morphine, who had a recurrent and painful shoulder injury which prevented him from swimming strongly, and who had almost drowned in similar conditions earlier that year, having to be pulled from the ocean turning purple and vomiting seawater, simply fell victim to the extremely dangerous surf conditions that day, we will never know. Thanks, and join me next time for another Beardo's True Conspiracies from Australian History.
Wow. Far out.
S. F.